Hello friends, welcome to my channel Eccentric Learning. I hope you have gone through my last video on time, speed and distance where I have explained the basic concept of time, speed and distance, and I have also covered the concept of average speed. If you haven't gone through that video till now, the link has been given in the description box. Please go through it. Also, if you like my videos, then do subscribe my channel and also share with your friends. In today's video, we are going to do some word problems based on the concept we have learned in the last video. So let us start with today's video. Let us start with this question today. How much time a 180-meter long train traveling at a speed of 36 km per hour takes to cross a pole and to cross a 300-meter long platform? So here there is a train whose length is 180 meter and the train is traveling with a speed of 36 km per hour. Now, since the length is in meter and the speed is in kilometer per hour, so let us convert this kilometer per hour into meter per seconds. So we know that 1 kilometer per hour can be written as 1 kilometer upon 1 hour. So 1 kilometer is 1000 meters. And 1 hour is 60 minutes and 1 minute is 60 seconds. So this would be 60 upon 60. So if you simplify this, so this would be 5 by 18 meter per second. So that means 1 kmph is equivalent to 5 by 18 meter per second. Or we can say that 1 meter per second is equivalent to 18 by 5 kmph. So this 36 kmph would be simply 36 times of 5 by 18. So that would be 10 meter per second. So now if we come to the first part, the train has to cross a pole. So that means the train has to cover its own length. So that means the train would be covering a distance of 180 meter at a speed of 10 meter per second. So the time taken would be simply distance upon speed, which would be 180 upon 10. That would be 18 seconds. Now for the second part, that means when the train has to cross a 300 meter long platform, in that case, the train has to cover a total distance of 180 plus the length of the platform, that is 300. So the total distance would be 480 meters. So the time taken would be simply distance by speed, which would be 480 upon 10 meter per second. So if you calculate this out, this would be 48 seconds. Okay, so now let us say this question. Shyam covers first half of his journey at 18 kmph and the rest at 22 kmph. What is his average speed for the entire journey? So let us assume that the total journey is of 2d kilometers. So the first half would be of d kilometers and the second half will also be of d kilometers. So the first half Shyam covers at a speed of 18 kmph and the second half he covers at 22 kmph. We need to find the average speed for the entire journey. To calculate the average speed, we can simply use the total distance traveled upon total time taken. But since in this case, the total distance traveled is same, so we can directly use the formula for average speed, which would be in this case simply the harmonic mean of 18 and 22. As when the distance is same, the average speed for the entire journey is simply the harmonic mean of all the speeds. So the harmonic mean of 18 and 22 would be 2 into 18 into 22 upon 18 plus 22, which if we simplify, this would be 19.8 kmph. So in this case, since the distance was constant, so the average speed is simply the harmonic mean of the speeds of 18 and 22. Now, a similar question could be framed in such a way such that the total time traveled with different speeds would be constant. So in that case, the average speed would simply be the arithmetic mean of all these speeds. Okay, So now let us say this question. A person traveling at 6 kmph reaches his office 15 minutes late. Had he traveled at 8 kmph, he would have been 25 minutes early. Find the distance the person has to travel to reach his office. This question can simply be solved simply by using the formula distance is equal to speed into time, and it can also be solved simply by using the ratio. I'll be showing you both the methods and you'll be able to see how simply by using ratio we can get to the answers very easily. So if we simply use this formula distance equal to speed into time, in that case let us assume that the total distance that the person has to travel to reach his office is say d kilometer, and the normal speed is say s kmph, and the normal time is say t hours. So in the first case, when the person was traveling at 6 kmph, he reaches his office 15 minutes late. So if we simply use the values here, so the distance would be d, the speed would be 6, and the time taken would be, since he is reaching office 15 minutes late, so the time taken would be t plus 15 upon 60. Since this 15 was in minute, I've converted this into hours since I've taken this t to be in hours. Again, for the next part, when he was traveling at 8 kmph, he would have been 25 minutes early. In that case, I can use distance equal to speed into time. So d would be 8 into t minus 25 upon 60, as 25 minutes would be 25 by 60 in terms of hours. Now I have two variables d and t, and I have two equations. I can solve this out and I'll be getting the value of d to be 16 kilometer. So this is one way to get the distance, but you can see in this case we have to form two equations and we have to solve these two equations, and you can see solving of these two equations won't be easy. So that's why this process would be taking a bit more time. So it's better to avoid this and let us simply use the ratio method. Here, the two speeds are given to be 6 kmph and 8 kmph. So the ratio of speeds would be simply 3:4. In both cases, the distance traveled is constant, so the speed and time would be inversely related. So the ratio of time would be simply 4:3. So that means if the person travels with a speed of 6 kmph, then if it takes 4 part of the time, then when the person travels at 8 kmph, it would be taking 3 part of the time. Now, in the first case, the person was reaching 15 minutes late, and in the second case, the person was reaching 25 minutes early. So the time gap between these two is simply 25 plus 15, that is 40 minutes. So we can say that 4 minus 3, that is 1 part, is equivalent to 40 minutes. So this 3 part would be 3 into 40, that is 120 minutes, or simply 2 hours. That means when the person travels with a speed of 8 kmph, it takes 2 hours to reach to office. So the total distance would be simply speed into time. So this would be 8 kmph times of 2 hours, that would be 16 kilometers. So we can see how simply by using this ratio method, we can reach to the answers in a very easy way as compared to the normal equation method. Okay, so now let us see a similar question. Amit usually takes 2 hours to reach office, but today he started late by half an hour. By what percentage should he increase his speed to reach office in time? Now again, we can find the percentage increase in the speed simply by using d equals to speed into time. But again, it would be time consuming, so it's better we go with the ratio method. Let us assume that every day Amit leaves for office at say 8 a.m. and reaches office after 2 hours, that means at 10 a.m. Today, he is late by half an hour. So that means he is leaving for office at 8:30 a.m. And if he wants to reach office in time, then he must reach at 10 a.m. again. So earlier, he used to take 2 hours to reach office. But now, if he wants to reach at the same time, so in that case, he needs to take 1.5 hours. So he needs to increase his speed. Now, the ratio of the time taken is 2:1.5, which is nothing but 4:3. So the ratio of speed would be simply 3:4. So that means earlier, if he used to travel at 30 kmph, now he needs to travel at 40 kmph to reach office in time. So what is the increase in speed? Well, if you check the difference, this is simply 1/3, and which is equivalent to 33.33%. So that means he needs to increase his speed by 33.33% to reach office in time. Okay, so now let us see this question. Ankit, school normally finishes at 5 p.m. His dad arrives from home to pick him, reaching school exactly at 5 p.m. But one day, the school finished early at 2 p.m. Ankit decided to start walking towards home. He met his dad along the way and as a result reaches home 1 hour earlier that day. Find the ratio of Ankit's walking speed to his dad's driving speed. Well, this is a very conceptual question which can be solved simply by using the logic. So let us simply go by the logic. Let us assume this is Ankit's home and this is Ankit's school. So every day Ankit's dad starts from his home to pick him and reaches school at 5 p.m. But on that day, the school finished at 2 p.m. and instead of waiting at school, Ankit decided to walk towards his home and met his dad somewhere in between home and school. Let us assume this point to be P, that is the meeting point of Ankit and Ankit's dad. Now it has been given that on that day Ankit was able to save 1 hour. So that means his father's car didn't have to drove this distance and back again this distance. So that means they saved traveling the distance from point P to school and from school to point P. And this back and forth time is the time which they saved and which has been given as 1 hour. So we can say that his dad's car would be taking 30 minutes from point P to school and another 30 minutes from school to point P. So on that day, if his dad's car was supposed to be at school at 5 p.m., so we can say that his dad's car was at point P at 4:30 p.m. So we can say that this distance would have been covered by Ankit's dad's car in 30 minutes, whereas the same distance would be covered by Ankit in 4:30 p.m. minus 2 p.m., that is 2.5 hours. So the ratio of the time taken by Ankit and time taken by Ankit's dad's car would be simply 2.5 and 0.5 hour, that is 5:1. So this is the ratio of the time. So the ratio of the speed of Ankit and his dad would be the inverse of this, that is 1:5. So we can see how simply by knowing the concepts of time, speed, and distance, we can reach to the answers very easily. So that's it for today's video, in which we have seen some word problems on time, speed, and distance. But I would suggest you to practice more questions because the more you practice, the more you learn. I hope you have learned something in today's video, but if you have any confusion, you can watch the video again, and still if you have any doubts, you can put it in the comment box. I will try to answer each one of your queries. So if you like my videos, then do subscribe my channel and also share with your friends. I'll see you all in my next video. Till then, keep learning, keep sharing, and keep growing. Thank you.